Yeah, we did the North Coast 500, I think in 2017. And I was talked into going in a camper van, and I thought I was going to hate it, and I wasn't looking forward to it. And I think it genuinely was one of the best holidays we ever had. It was me and Ricky and Alfie, who sadly is no longer with us. And it was just fantastic. We did it in 5 days, and we got good weather, and we got to see Scotland and all its glory, and it's worth doing.
After the New Zealand leg of our tour, which we had fun, that was amazing. Again, a revelation to be in Australia and New Zealand. And for a change, I took time. I got permission from the family to take time because I was 60 on the plane over to Australia. And I got permission to go on a kind of an odyssey in New Zealand, which was excellent. So I went to, because I'm a huge Tolkien fan, and I went to all the sites, climbed Mount Doom, went to Hobbiton. Now, I know these places aren't really real, but because the landscape was real, I was in a kind of a reverie with the whole thing, and I just, had to tell myself, it's not real. But I loved it so much. I spent 6 days touring in a little camper van on my own, walking in the wilderness. Brilliant. I loved it. So that would be my favourite so far.
It's quite sad actually, because this year, Graham Kelling, our guitar player, who died 20 years ago this year, we both lived in London for a while in the early days of the band. So there was one particular road trip. I hadn't long passed my test, and I had a Talbot Samba cabriolet, ragtop, and we were driving from Glasgow to London, and we had a cassette of Proclaimers' Sunshine and Leith. Kept putting it into the thing. I mean, we hadn't heard it before, so we were listening to that almost all the way down, and I literally hadn't long passed my test. Graham had passed his test years before, but I got stopped for speeding, and I remember Graham saying, "Take your sunglasses off, and just be polite." It's like, yeah, I've been polite. Apparently, it turns out the police were chasing this guy, and I overtook the guy they were chasing. They let me off, but that memory of that trip, because we were like listening to songs from that record, from that Proclaimers record, Graham and I together. And it was just lovely because we were like singing along with these tunes. I almost lost my license about 4 weeks after I passed. Didn't get any points on it, didn't get a fine, thank God. But that was a particularly sort of lovely moment. Just getting into a car with your pal, sticking a cassette on and listening to some banging tunes.
We did a good trip a few years ago. I think it was just coming out of lockdown. No one could travel as far as they might have liked to, and we got ourselves a tent as a family, we got a trailer, we got all the stuff piled into the back of the car, and we drove down actually back to Wales. We went to Pembrokeshire, I think. We went to near St David's campsite, just this stunning place really out in the wilderness. And it was quite a journey to get there, kids there and everything, and I think what a feeling just then to be able to go somewhere when we'd been at home for so long, to take us all and find a place. Being out there again, just like here, being out away from the cities, away from the noise and the lights, and just in that sort of quietness until we got there with my two tiny kids. But no, that was a great trip.
Well, yes, but there's too many to mention. But I mean, the entire tour. But my girlfriend Beatrice and I went to Spain, and Granada is one of my most favourite places in the world now. And if anyone gets a chance to go, it's not that far away. You can fly to Malaga and then up to Granada, which is fantastic. But we went as a band, and Beatrice came as well. We went to Italy. And it was like out of a film set on a hill with the kind of silhouette of a church spire in the background. Outside, bats flying about and the noise of cicadas in the distance, and all these fans in an amphitheatre as the sun is going down, and it's all silhouetted. And it was a film. It was a film set, and we were playing outside. And Italy was just immense. But then so was, Scarborough.
Well, I have a few road trips that I've been on, but One of my favourite ones was about 10 years ago. I had a weekend to myself in the southern states, and I said to a friend of mine in Nashville, where should I go? And he said, you know, you should head down to Mississippi. And I did, and I just followed my nose. It was great. I went down to Mississippi. I went to a place called Oxford, Mississippi, which is the real heart of the civil rights story. You know, where the first black student went to the university there and faced incredible harassment. So you pick up these stories, but as you stop along the way, there's stories of the Civil War, stories of the civil rights movement, and of course, huge stories of rock and roll. I was kind of working my way back to Memphis, and I thought, actually, I've got a Tupelo. And I discovered, you know, the little house where Elvis grew up and so on. So it's just a fantastic place, and I kind of keep vowing to do it again. But just nosing your way through the South is just full of great stories. I loved it.